Hello, folks. Good evening and welcome to the online spiritualist service with me, Ashley Robinson, and Thundersley Christian Spiritualist Church in particular. Happy Sunday to you all, folks. Happy Sunday. 14th of June. We're in the middle already. I've had a nice weekend. I hope you have too. I'll tell you a little bit more about myself and why it's been a good weekend. But I'm thrilled to be here. I'm Ashley Robinson. I'm from South London. My mother church is Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, and my sister church, where I'm the president and minister of religion, is Hackbridge. When I say that aloud, I should probably say that Hackbridge is now Mother Church. But boy and man grew up in and around Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. I'm a third generation spiritualist. And actually, folks, I spent years telling my mum and dad, my nan and granddad, I hope you don't mind if I don't follow in your footsteps. I was very spiritual. Mediumship was, typical Sunday morning, Sunday evening, Tuesday night. Nothing in particularly woo-woo about that. And mediumship was one of the ways I practiced my religion. But different things changed in the beginning of my life, included some major challenges of my faith and belief system. And actually, it brought me even closer to my religion. I'm very proud to say that I am spiritualist. Legally, it's really important because as an ordained minister of religion, being spiritualist gives me the conferred power to marry people in our churches. And at Wimbledon, we can marry anybody. Love is love, and we were one of the first churches, I think, the first church in the London Borough of Merton to register for same-sex marriages, which felt like a really fantastic thing to do. So here I am today. I'll be doing a demonstration of mediumship, and I'm going to do a bit of an address, a bit of philosophy. And if you want to engage in the chat bar, I should better see you. So good evening there to Karen and Jenny, Mandy Mills, Claire. Good evening to all of you. Christine Maris, lovely to see your name again. Long time no see. It's been a while. Paul and Fiona, Jenny, Dee, Mia, all saying hello there. And I'm thrilled to be invited to serve the church today from Thundersley. Claire Phillips, Shirley Hall, Mia, good evening to you. And folks, we'll make this as interactive as possible, particularly when I'm doing the mediumship. It'd be lovely to have you interacting with me. People say that they're pleased to do it and then watch it first time watching for fantastic. So any first time watchers then for this stream, Thundersley Spiritualist Church, lovely to hear from you. Also lovely to know where you're watching. Don't feed me too much information. We say as a medium, don't feed us information. You don't need to be specific, say you're watching from the toilet or the couch. But yeah, we've got some people there. So Nicola from Wales, good evening to you. Emma saying hello as well. And Shirley Hall. So I'm going to go into my address. It's 1855. It's only going to be about 5 minutes max. And the reason I'm telling you that is I'm going to offer a sort of very gentle and sensitive trigger warning. And I'm going to talk a little bit about mental health. It is Mental Health Week, Pride Week, and we're about to go into Men's Mental Health Day next week. And I'm going to talk very briefly about an experience of losing my godson to the spirit world as a result of his lifestyle and his death by suicide. So if you don't want to be hearing about the spiritual context of that, do come back in 5 minutes time when I'll be doing the mediumship. But I want to be able to normalize conversations about mental health and suicide, so that suicide can be preventable, because it should be preventable. So from a spiritual point of view, I very much sort of, I suppose I entitle, and hello there, Michelle from Notts and Jeff from Southport. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. So I'm going to start by asking you a question, and you're welcome to interact with me in the chat bar. I want you to think about it, not just answer it out loud, although you can put an answer in the chat bar. Have you ever felt like your brain works differently to everyone else's? Maybe your thoughts come faster than your words can keep up. Maybe you feel more deeply or more intensely than the people around you seem to. Maybe school or work or church can feel like it was designed for someone else, not you. And if any of that sounds familiar, I want you to hear something today that I really, truly mean. That is not a flaw, my friend. That is the fingerprints of the spirit on your soul. In the spirit world, there's no such thing as the standard brain. There is no template. There is no correct way to think, to feel, to learn, or to love. And our philosophy tells us that the light of spirit shines within every single one of us equally, unconditionally, and without exception. And that includes the way that your mind and the way that your brain works. Now, scientists and doctors have a word for minds that work differently, and they call it neurodiversity. Things like ADHD, autism, dyslexia, dyspraxia, these aren't problems to be fixed. They're different instruments in the orchestra of human life and experience. And that orchestra, with only one type of instrument, would be pretty boring, wouldn't it? Some of history's greatest thinkers, believers, people that changed the world, are now believed to have been neurodivergent. Einstein struggled at school. Da Vinci apparently couldn't finish half of his projects. Tesla was driven by obsessive patterns of thought. Their difference was their gift. But this is where I want to speak to you honestly, heart to heart. I know that feeling difference isn't always easy. Sometimes, often, it's exhausting. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes the world asks you to fit into a box that just simply wasn't made for you. And when you don't fit, it can make you feel like something is wrong, perhaps with you, and there isn't. Now, I need to say something that men in particular often find it hard to hear. It's okay not to be okay. Boys, men get sad too. Young men carry pain. And for far too often, far too long, our society has told them to be quiet about it, to man up, to get on with it. But silence is not strength. Silence is just silence. And sometimes silence costs us people we love. I lost someone close to me to suicide. And one of the things his inquest confirmed that was nobody had known just how much pain he was in. But not because people didn't care, because the conversations weren't always happening. He hadn't been given, personally, enough reasons to stay. So let's make that commitment right here in this virtual congregation that we will be those reasons for each other, that we will be the person that someone can text at midnight, that we will be the friend who notices when something feels off, that we will be the space where it's safe. And it's safe to say, I'm not okay today, mate. Spirit never told us that life would be easy, but Spirit also never said you had to carry that alone. You and I were put on this earth with our unique, brilliant, beautifully different minds, and the world needs you in it. All of you, as you are right now. Wherever you are on this journey, whatever label you carry or don't carry, you belong here in this community, in this world. If today you're struggling, please talk to someone. Talk to me, talk to the virtual audience, talk to a friend, talk to your mum or dad, ring a helpline. Just talk, because you matter. More than you'll ever know, you matter. A couple of questions I'm going to put to you by way of wrapping this up. Has anyone here ever felt like their brain works differently to other people? And how did that make you feel? Or what does the word neurodivergent mean to you? Is it something you've heard before? Do you think it's easy, or is it hard for people, maybe young people, maybe boys, maybe especially boys, but not necessarily boys, to talk about their feelings? And if so, why? And if a friend came to you and said they were really struggling, what would you do or say? What does it mean to you to be part of this spiritual community? Does it ever make you feel less alone? Is there something you wish adults or teachers or employers understood better about how your mind works and feels? And if you're happy to share that in the chat bar, please do. But there's a couple of stats and words I just want to share with you about neurodivergency, about young people, and risks of suicide. And these are accurately sourced. You can weave in and out of Google and forums, but the scale of the issue is huge. And it is estimated that around 1.6 billion people worldwide are neurodivergent. And this group is at a disproportionate risk, a higher risk of mental health problems and suicide. And that's not a small community. That's a significant part of community. 20% of the globe are very likely neurodiverse, and none of their brains think the same way. Within autism, Specifically, the suicide mortality rate around autistic individuals is estimated to be 3 to 7 times higher than that of the general population. Around 1 to 2% of people in the UK are autistic, yet one study interviewing the families of 400 people who died by suicide found that 10% of those that had died had elevated autistic traits. They were in that spectrum. As a mental health burden, about 8 in 10 autistic people will experience a mental health problem during their life, compared to just 1 in 4 people in the general population. So, why is the risk higher? Many people with neurodivergent conditions report facing discrimination, being treated differently, bullying, harassment, being marginalized. And these destructive experiences can lead to feelings of being judged, excluded, or misunderstood, and disrepair. And this significantly impacts mental health, and it increases the risk of death by suicide. It's a silent struggle. It's one of the biggest killers of young men and women in the UK. Research indicates that approximately 1 in 3 autistic individuals report suicidal ideation, and between 15 to 25% of sample reports suicide attempts or other suicidal behaviors. Pride Week. And I just want to talk very briefly about Pride Week, because a stat that I read very recently was that within the LGBT community, having at least one psychologically safe person that you can come out to, that you can talk about love, being love, and the fact that soul has no gender only experience, reduces the risk of death by suicide amongst the LGBT community by 40%. That's just having one safe person they can come out to. And that question I asked about spirituality, about this community, I actually think that on a really good day, I'm proud of the fact that we are a bunch of misfits, united by an umbrella of similar thoughts and feelings. Okay, I said I was only going to talk for 5 minutes, and I think I spoke for now about 7. But that philosophy, I hope you'll see, is all about the umbrella. You are enough. And you and I are here today with reason. There's no such thing as a coincidence. So